Senator Chambliss.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Secretary, it's interesting that Senator Roberts and I had previously been talking about the fact that one thing that probably should be done is exactly what Senator Ben Nelson just recommended, and that's tear down that wall, and that wall is Abu Ghraib prison, to show a sign of another destruction of Saddam Hussein. Mr. Secretary, there are different kinds of leaders, and different leaders even provide different kinds of leadership. One easy thing for a leader to do is sometimes hide behind the lower echelon in the chain of command, and I just want to say to you, I've been prepared to be very critical of you if I needed to be critical today. But by you coming in here and making an admission as a strong leader that a mistake was made, and that you're going to be doing whatever is necessary to correct that mistake, shows just what kind of leader you are. And anybody who questions your effectiveness and your ability to lead the United States military has had their question answered today. So for that, I commend you. I commend you also for your selection of General Miller. I've been to Guantanamo twice. I was worried about what might happen down there with respect to those detainees. I had the privilege to observe several different interrogations. I think I was there the day that General Miller first arrived, as a matter of fact. And I observed random interrogations down there. And General Miller did correct a problem that existed. There were charges of abuse that were much slighter than these charges of abuse that General Miller dealt with swiftly and directly. I am concerned, though, about a couple of different things. First of all, General Ryder did make his report following his visit to Abu Ghraib from the period of October 13 to November the 6th. We had a United States Army general doing an investigation of a prison and the activities that were ongoing in that prison during a point in time when these alleged atrocities took place. Now, my understanding from General Ryder is that he was never told about any of this while he was there, and I don't understand that. I don't understand how the chain of command could be so faulty within that system to allow that to happen. The only answer I ever got was that these atrocities occurred on the night shift. Well, the Army doesn't operate 12 hours a day. We operate 24 hours a day, and there's a failure in the chain of command that I hope you're in the process of addressing very directly from that standpoint. Also, in response to Senator McCain, you made two comments. First of all, that guards are trained to guard people, not interrogate, and that guards are trained in the requirements of the Geneva Convention. Now, I understand those are policies of the Department of Defense, as well they should be. But the fact of the matter is, when you look at page 10 of the Taguba report, you find out that was not done in this case, that these MPs simply were not trained in what they were supposed to be doing. So again, I hope your folks are moving in the direction of making that correction with respect particularly to reservists that are brought on board. Now, one obvious judgment is that the 800th MP Brigade was totally dysfunctional from Brigadier General Kopinski on down, with few exceptions, and on the surface you could portray the 800th MP Brigade as a reserve unit with poor leadership and poor training. However, the abuse of prisoners is not merely a failure of an MP brigade. It's a failure of the chain of command, Mr. Secretary. And what I want to leave here today is knowing and taking comfort in the fact that, as Senator Graham said, we're not going to just prosecute somebody with one stripe on their sleeve or four stripes on their sleeve. That you're going to carry this thing to whatever extent is necessary to ensure that there's no good old boy system within the United States Army. And irrespective of whether they got a stripe on their sleeve or 4 stars on their shoulder, that we're going to get to the bottom of this, and we're going to make sure that corrective action is taken, and where necessary, criminal action is taken against anybody involved in the particular acts or in the shielding of this, and the failure or negligence on their part of keeping this information from you in a quick and swift manner.
I agree with everything you've said, and there's no question but that the investigations have to go forward. They have to be respectful of people's rights, but they have to be handled in a manner that reflects the gravity of this situation, and it does not matter one whit where the responsibility falls. It falls where it does.
Thank you, Mr.
very
Secretary.
much,
Senator Chambliss, I'd like to, if I might, Mr. Chairman, just for a minute, since Senator Chambliss characterized our Army in a way that I don't agree with. It doesn't matter whether a soldier is on active duty in the active component, in the Guard, or the Reserve. There's one standard. And we expect that our leadership and our soldiers adhere to the same standard. And those are those Army values, the soldiers' creed, and the things we all believe in. So I disassociate with your remarks there that for some reason that this, because this was a reserve unit, that there isn't a standard that's equal to everybody else's.
General, my remarks were not directed towards this unit being a reserve unit. They just happen to be a reserve unit.
Correct.
But the fact of the matter is that the Tagaboo report says that this unit, which is a reserve unit, did not receive training during their mobilization, and that was a fault in the system. And it's a fault because they are a reserve unit.
Sir, and we're going to look into that. We are looking into it, and if that's true, we're going to correct it.
Thank you.
Nevertheless, they have one standard.
Thank you, gentlemen.